In this video, I will be changing the hydraulic clutch fluid. First thing you want to do is make sure the hydraulic clutch reservoir is clean and free of any dirt. Using a T20 socket, I'm going to remove the bolts on the cover. Remove the cover, being careful not to spill any mineral oil on the bike. I will be using this syringe to remove the mineral oil from the reservoir. I'm going to take a rag now and just wipe out the reservoir. Look at how dirty that is. So now your reservoir is empty. And what we're going to do is we're going to back flush this. So to do that, this cover needs to be removed. So using a T25 socket, we're going to remove both bolts. Put the bolts back into the cover so we don't lose them. Once the cover is removed, you're going to see the slave cylinder area. This is your line coming from the reservoir down. There's going to be something called a grub screw. It's a 2.5 millimeter screw that needs to be removed. Now, if this job has been done before, you might see what's called a bleeder screw here instead of the grub screw. As soon as you take this out, it's going to start to drain what's left as far as fluid in that line. And you can see how small that screw is. So I marked the shift linkage so I can remove it to get better access to this area. Okay, I'm going to use my syringe with the tube, and I guess these are needles that you use for blowing up like basketballs and stuff. So I'm going to get that to go inside there, and I'm going to shoot that fluid back through and up into the reservoir. All right, so I pushed the entire syringe of fluid into the slave cylinder, which goes back through the hose and all the way up to the reservoir. You can see now that there's fluid in that reservoir. The fluid that I am using is called Royal Blood. It's a mineral oil for hydraulic and brake systems. Drain this fluid out. Get some new fluid. Put this into the hole. Push the fluid into the slave master cylinder and back into the reservoir. So this is kind of called a back flush. Now you don't want to get any air into there, just liquid. Okay, I'm gonna pull this off and it's gonna leak. Put your finger on it. We're gonna go ahead and put this cap back on. I think it's 5 Newton meters on this plug. Just gonna snug it. BMW does this on purpose. They don't put the bleeder valve there. You can buy a bleeder valve from BMW. The bleeder is like 20 bucks. And then the cap, the dust cap, is another $9. So I'm not spending the money to do this. I can do it just the same with the syringe, hose, and the old air valve nozzle thing for the like filling up basketballs and stuff. Works great. You just push it on there, hold it like I did, and then push the fluid right through it, and it just backfeeds the system. No problems. The only thing I can recommend when you do this job is don't use the syringe that you use for like brake fluid or any other contaminant. You want to use a new syringe that's dedicated to mineral oil. I'm just going to clean this. All right. Wipe down this area here. Now, if you took the shift linkage off like I did, you go ahead and put it back on. I just hand snug this. It doesn't take a whole lot to hold this aluminum shift linkage down. And put the cover back on. Again, I just snug these down. Make sure your cap is clean. Wipe it all down. If you need to add mineral oil to your reservoir till it's at the max level, put the cover back on, put your bolts back in. And I just hand snug these down, not too much pressure. Check your clutch. You should have a good feel to your clutch. And that, my friend, is how I do the clutch, hydraulic, fluid change. Again, these BMWs, they call for mineral oil. Do not confuse that with brake fluid or any other type of fluid. If you have the bleeder on there, it's simpler to do. The only difference with the bleeder is you attach the hose to the bleeder and then you push the fluid through the slave all the way up to the reservoir. I was going to order one and do it the way the book says, but I saw the prices on that and the time it was going to take to get, and I'm like, I can go around that. And I did. I'll put links to the stuff that I use in the description area like I always do. And if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. You all have a blessed day. Goodbye.